Hello, my name is Kit, and I work with a team of organizers at Migrant Workers Alliance for Change. I'm going to share briefly about who we are and what we do before talking about immigration options for people with expired farm work permits, so keep watching for the information that you came here for. Migrant Workers Alliance for Change is a migrant rights organization whose leaders and members are farm workers like you, as well as other migrant workers who do different types of work in Canada but want the same thing as you: equal rights, dignity, family unity, and permanent resident status for all. When we say migrant workers, we're talking about all low-wage workers without permanent resident status, which is currently 1.7 million people in Canada. We are a migrant-led organization, which means it's workers like you who are setting the priorities and deciding the direction of the group. Staff members like me are here to create resources like this and share information, to connect you with other workers, and to support you to take action together. If you want to learn more about us and how to get involved, send a WhatsApp text or voice message to 905-324-2840. Everything you share is private and confidential. Current and former farm workers like you are uniting with other migrant workers across the country to build strength and win change to benefit all migrants, including permanent resident status for all. Now, when we say status for all, it's not just about being able to stay and live in Canada because you already live and work here. It's about having the power to decide for yourself and have control over your own life so that you can make choices that are best for you and your family instead of the bosses and politicians making those choices for you. Status for all is all about living with dignity and equality, and migrant workers are uniting together across the country to take action to build power and win changes. This is an information session for current and former migrant farm workers who have temporary work permits that are expiring soon or have already expired, to learn about what immigration options are available to you. We're going to talk about your choices, but first we'll give an update on our latest action. On November 14th, over 100 undocumented worker representatives traveled to Ottawa and forced a meeting with Canada's Immigration Minister Sean Fraser, as well as representatives from the NDP. The government can no longer plead ignorance about what you're going through as migrant and undocumented workers. This was a historical delegation, and these meetings only happened because migrants united together to build up enough power and make it happen. But having a meeting with politicians is not our end goal. Our goal is to win equal rights, dignity, and family unity for all. And that's exactly what we intend to do. We are not here to play small, we're here to win. These one-time actions are powerful, but in order to bring real change, we need to keep uniting, building power, and applying pressure to win change. So no matter what you're going through, you are not alone. There are 1.7 million people in Canada living without permanent resident status who are excluded from proper health care, decent work and wages, safe housing, and who are separated from their families and loved ones back home. This is not fair, and it's why farm workers like you are uniting together and with other migrant workers to build power and change the unfair laws that deny you the dignity, freedom, and justice that you deserve. In this workshop, we're going to learn about different immigration and work permit options that are available and what you need to qualify. As we go through the options, you may see that there is not as many options as you thought or as you've been told by some immigration consultants and lawyers, but don't let that discourage you. Together, we can push for better options like full and permanent status for all with nobody left behind. That's why migrant workers like you are uniting to take action in December. Be sure to sign and share the petition at statusforall.ca to help build pressure to win permanent status for all and to stay updated on upcoming actions. You can also send a WhatsApp message to 905-324-2840 to join the private news alert and information updates list. So let's get started. Knowing your immigration options in Canada is very important so that you have all the facts you need to make the right choice for you and your family. Maybe some of you have experiences with lawyers trying to scam you and trying to take your hard-earned money. If this has happened to you or someone you know, it can feel very shameful and embarrassing, but it's not your fault. We all know that migrant workers on temporary permits have very little rights in this country and even less rights when the government takes away your status completely. Living and working with temporary status or no status leads to being exploited, excluded from workplace protections, having to leave your family, being threatened to be sent home or not brought back next season if you try to defend your rights, living in crowded and unsafe housing. Plus, if you get sick or injured, you and your coworkers are treated as disposable because the bosses have too much power and they only care about getting richer. It's not fair and it doesn't have to be this way. You and your family and your coworkers and their families deserve so much better. In this info session, we're learning about possible immigration and work permit options, but we're also going to talk about what you can do this month to change the unfair rules and make them work for you so that everyone can live with dignity, equal rights, and be united with their families. Watch part 2 to learn about your options on an expired work permit, including restoring your status, applying for an open work permit, and applying for permanent residency through spousal sponsorship and humanitarian and compassionate application. If there's something else you'd like to learn about that isn't covered here, drop a comment or send us a WhatsApp message at 905-324-2840 with what you want us to talk about in future videos.